If being single makes you anxious, restless, or secretly ashamed, this video is for you. Not the soft aesthetic kind of discomfort, but the kind where silence feels so loud, weekends feel so empty, and your mind keeps whispering that you are somehow behind in life. So most people think this feeling means they need love. So that is so wrong. So what it actually means is that their identity has been outsourced. And today we are going to take it back. So let me start with something that might sting a little. So a lot of people are not afraid of being alone. They are afraid of being unchosen. And they confuse singlehood with rejection, when in reality singlehood is simply unclaimed time. But if your self-worth has been built on attention, validation, or being desired, unclaimed time feels so unbearable. So that discomfort is not a sign that something is missing. It is a sign that something is important has never been built. And as we all know, many people jump from relationship to relationship, not because they are romantic, but because being alone forces them to face themselves without distraction. So when there is no one to text, no one to impress, to please, or to fantasize about, your inner world gets very loud. So all insecurities surface and unmet needs show up suddenly. So questions you have been avoiding starts knocking out. And so instead of listening, people reach for another person. So another story, another relationship, another fantasy, and the cycle repeats always. And here is where the shift begins. So being single is not a waiting room for love. So it is a training ground for identity. So it is the only phase of life where every decision you make belongs entirely to you. Your time, your money, your energy, your mornings, your nights. Once you share a life with someone, that level of autonomy disappears forever. So treating singlehood like a punishment instead of a privilege is one of the biggest misunderstandings modern dating culture has created. So simply being single is such a gift. A lot of the pain that people feel in singlehood is actually comes from a distorted timeline. So social media quietly teaches you that love should arrive by certain age. So in certain order with certain milestones that you attached. When your life does not match that script that they told you, your brain labels it as a failure. So, but relationships are not rewards for your good behavior. And being single is not evidence that you are lacking of something. And some people meet love early because they need those lessons early. Others meet it later because they needed to build themselves first. Timing is not moral, it is personal. So now let's talk about why singlehood feels so empty for some people and expansive for others. So the difference is not confidence, it is self-connections, the connection that you have with yourself, the love you give to yourself. So when you do not know who you are, being alone feels like being lost in house with no furniture. So when you are deeply connected to yourself, being alone feels like freedom. So same situation, completely different experiences. So this is why solo time cannot be passive, because if you spend time alone, scrolling, fantasizing, waiting or hoping to be interrupted by someone else, you are reinforcing the belief that your life only starts when someone arrives. That is not self-love. You are lacking a lot of self-love here, and this is an emotional limbo. So alone time becomes so powerful when it has intention. So when it is used to understand yourself, build your world, and strengthens your inner voice instead of silencing it. Another huge reason people struggle in singlehood is relationship envy. So seeing couples can trigger a quiet grief, and not always because you want what they have, but because you assume they have something that you are missing, which is very wrong. So the truth is, you never see the full picture that they have. You see only the moments. You see the things that they show you in social media. So you see the highlights, not compromises. And most importantly, you see their chapter, not your path. So comparison only hurts when you assume everyone is running the same race, but they're not. So a healthier shift is like this. Instead of asking why not me, ask what do I actually want? Not what looks good, not what other people got. What you actually want. Not what would impress others, but what kind of connection would truly fit the life that I am building. Singlehood gives you the space to define that without pressure. So to raise your standards not out of arrogance but out of clarity. And here's the part that people do not like to hear. Wanting a relationship does not mean you are ready for a relationship. So a healthy partnership requires emotional regulation, communication skills, accountability, responsibility, and the ability to tolerate discomfort without running. So if you're not using single time to build those skills, a relationship will not save you. It will expose you. Being single is also the only phase where being selfish is not just allowed but necessary. So your resources belong to you. Your growth belongs to you. This is the season where you can experimental fail, change directions, specific decisions in life, and involve without dragging someone else through this process. So if you skip this phase, you do not become more lovable. You become more lost inside a relationship. At the core of all this, detachment. Detachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging and you stop forcing timelines, outcomes, and people. You learn to let things end without making it mean something is wrong with you. And you learn that missing someone does not automatically mean that they should be in your life. So you learn that loneliness is a feeling, not a prophecy. So detachment is also about discipline. Just because you feel reaching out does not mean you should. Just because something is familiar does not mean it is healthy. Many people mistake intensity for love and attachment for connection. Singlehood gives you the distance to unlearn those patterns. So if you are brave enough to sit with this discomfort instead of escaping it. So this is where decentering relationships become very essential. So when romantic attention is no longer axis, your life spins around. So everything changes. Your decisions become cleaner, your standards become sharper, your energy comes back to you, you stop performing and start existing, you stop auditioning and start choosing. The irony is this. When you are deeply fulfilled on your own, love stops feeling urgent. It becomes optional. You don't need it. You just want it. So, and this is why exactly when it becomes very healthy. So, because now a relationship is no longer a solution to your life. It is an addition to what you already have. So, singlehood is not about pretending you do not want love. It is about refusing to abandon yourself while waiting for it. So it is about building a life so solid that love, when it comes, has something real to join. One day you will look back at this version of yourself and the one who learned to sit alone without shrinking, the one who chose growth over distraction, the one who stopped chasing and started building, and you will realize that this season was not empty at all. So I hope you guys learned a lot from this video about singlehood and what kind of a gift being single is. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Bye.